another disturbing development. A mother from Butterworth in the Eastern Cape has allegedly killed her 3 daughters before committing suicide. Police suspect the children were poisoned and stabbed. It's reported that the motive could have been poverty. It is also alleged that one of the reasons for the tragedy is a debt collector who has been demanding money from her. We're now joined by Operation Hunger CEO Sandy Bukula and EFF Eastern Cape Deputy Chairperson Nokuthula Mlokoti. Thank you very much to both our guests for your time this afternoon. Ms. Bukula, perhaps let's start with you and maybe take a look at some of the newspaper headlines and how they have covered the story. For instance, the Daily Maverick reads, "Desperate Eastern Cape mom kills starving children and hangs herself." It goes on to say a debt collector looking for repayment of a loan found the bodies of a Butterworth woman and her 3 children at their home on Sunday morning. It is understood that she had poisoned her small children by mixing the last food in the house with rat poison. Her teenage daughter died after she was stabbed in the throat. The mother then hanged herself. Family members said the woman was deeply in debt and the family had been starving for weeks. The notion of hunger leading some women to take such measures or drastic measures, does it speak to an issue of hunger only? Is it just about a lack of food?
It speaks to the current climate at the moment with regards to hunger, Dudu. We know, for example, within the Eastern Cape zone, 61.5% of the population are depending on social grants, and they have been reported, I think about 21% in the last quarter, was basically reported as having been in a food crisis. So, the prevalence of hunger and malnutrition within that province is actually quite high. I do want to basically categorize this very much because, in the Eastern Cape, for example, specifically, we've had...
Ms. Bukula, unfortunately, we are struggling to hear you, so we're going to try and reconnect with you. We cannot make out what it is that you are saying. Our apologies. If we could just please reconnect and get you back into the conversation. Nokuthula Mlokoti, perhaps the same question to you. From the work that you do, is it just about poverty that leads or drives women to take such drastic measures?
Well, greetings to you, Dudu, and greetings to the viewers at home. Well, it's poverty. In fact, poverty is at the center of it. There may be other issues, but poverty is really at the center. We know that women in South Africa, in the Eastern Cape in particular, where I am, we are having a problem and a crisis of women that are unemployed and women that
Oh my, it appears our connection is playing hide and seek. Ms. Bukula, I believe you are back. If you could please just pick up on your point or take it from the top.
I can definitely pick up on that point, but I just wanted to bring to attention basically to what is happening in the Eastern Cape in the household food index. So, for example, within that specific region, we have a 20% of the population that is reported to be in a food crisis at the moment, and I'm talking throughout the entire region. Now, over the past 3 years, we've had basically just besides COVID-19 and basically the exacerbated climate change. So what we've seen, for example, like during the dry, like your hot seasons between summer. So what you would normally find is that, there is basically so much scarcity of water, which this has directly resulted in the decrease on food production and also basically just on sustenance farming that is used usually as, by the population as a way to supplement, the food requirements for the household. So we've had quite an increase in this as well. We've seen it during the period of load shedding, because what has happened in that region specifically, and when it comes to just food production on its own, is that, even with the installation of the water and sanitation plants to generate, obviously, a bulk water supply, during the period of load shedding, what we've seen because of the power of shortages, we've seen an increase in the number of drugs because, of course, the water supply, there is purely no water. So what this has done is it has increased on available coping strategies which the residents and the households were using, to complement their households, because of course we know that employment in that specific region is sitting at about 41%, and about 7% of that 41 accounts for.
If you could please allow me to join you for the purpose of time. I do beg your pardon, ma'am. If you could just allow us to join you there for the purpose of time. So a similar story is playing itself out in New Zealand. A South African mother, a certain Dr. Lauren Dickerson, who emigrated to New Zealand with her family, stands accused, and there's a murder trial currently going on where she killed her 3 children. The Citizen has been following that trial, the Citizen online. There's one line that really caught my attention where it says, when she walked down the hallway and saw their lunch boxes, it reminded her that she still had to make their sandwiches but had no energy left. It was at that point she's quoted as saying that I decided that I was going to do something about it, and this is when she killed her children. A case that has got nothing to do with hunger, but now her defense team is actually arguing depressive disorder, which is part of chronic postpartum. From the work that you do, are we going out with psychologists in these spaces talking to women about the state of mind that they are in?
That is 100%. I mean, part of our programs basically do link together with the health systems, and the idea there is to just ensure that for maternal women, or especially women that are caregiving for children between 0 to 5 years old, basically are given counseling when it comes to, the nutrition requirements needed for the children. Unfortunately, when it comes to mental health, we are a little bit limited because we don't necessarily we don't have, experts that deal with mental health that are available and at that level. However, counseling is being provided in terms of, like food preparation up until to consumption. And what we do try to do is we try to basically assist, like the beneficiaries into broad-based feeding. For example, during the schools, when the schools are closed, we still carry on basically providing meals for children, for 3 times a day. And for women that basically cannot breastfeed, they are small little infants, so we normally provide complementary diet. A part of this effort has actually increased because we're working with other partners that are looking at food fortification, that we can make, staple foods that people purchase on a daily basis that can actually be included with vitamins that can be available at lower prices. I think basically one of the most, successful one in the country would be on the maize meal, as well as the powder milk that is available now at stores that is actually at a much more cheaper rate. So there are specific things that are being dealt with. However, we do need, of course, sustainable, programs that integrate, people just not only to be on relief, but to actually have, access to being able to provide, produce, and trade for their own food.
Sandy Bukula is the CEO of Operation Hunger. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time this afternoon.